Hey, man, that stopped so quick. Well, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the Carlos Taco Show. And we got so many people on here and also that are going to be coming on pretty soon. We got Miss Patty, we got Frank, we got Nicole. So without any further ado, hit it. Go ahead and let us know what's going on, Miss Patty.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We have our amazing community leaders here. Let's do some community updates. What do we have going on? Let's see. Happenings. Let's talk about what the houseless folks. It's been raining and storming out a lot. I can't think about, like, Southern California is a hot mess, but we're here in Antioch and we have a houseless community here too.
Right.
So we have Nicole Gardner from Houseless, facing homelessness in Antioch. Give us an update. What's going on with
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I've been having the hardest time sleeping. Like even last night, I was just up. I couldn't even sleep just thinking about how cold it was outside. It was freezing outside, and just thinking about folks that didn't have shelter. It was pretty hard and pretty rough. But yeah, so just quick update with those who don't know me. I'm with Facing Homelessness here in Antioch. The city did just put on a community event, which was like a resource fair for the unhoused last week. That was an amazing turnout. There were like 20 tables with 20 different organizations that were there trying to provide resources for the unhoused. There were a lot of unhoused folks, our friends on the streets, that showed up. I was so surprised. Like it was packed. And it was a really good time. I give kudos to the unhoused resident coordinator because she did her thing on that one. That was a really great turnout. So thank you, Carlos, also for being there.
Yeah.
Providing the video, taking videos and getting everybody and the resources that they can provide to the unhoused, the different organizations and their information out there to the community. So we did have, I don't want to take too long on this, but we did have just recently, the sad thing about it and what has been so like frustrating is that we just recently had a woman, it's a lady in her 20s that had a 3-year-old son, and then it was her parents. They were living in an RV that was towed and recently, and Thea, our girl Thea, with my team, she found her at the community center or at a church, and this whole family was literally living in a tent off of Amtrak. So I guess the church put them up in a motel for a day. We put them up in a motel for the last few days. They're still there. We have connected with, or tried to connect with, as many folks as we can. And like I said, we just had that resource fair and we had a whole bunch of people that were there, but we were still having the hardest time trying to get them some type of stability and resources for like long-term shelter or housing. And so we've been taking donations, y'all. The community has been great as far as taking donations to try to keep them at the motel. But again, I reached out to the unhoused resident coordinator. Really, we had a heart-to-heart because we both feel kind of the same. Like we really don't have the resources to do our jobs. You know what I mean? So that's been difficult. Reached out to CORE, reached out to so many different people. But like I said, the community has been so great. They've sent us list after list. Last night, I was really like devastated. I was ready to go to City Hall and get arrested, okay? Because I was like, I'm sick of this. Y'all got to do something. Where is the money? What are we doing as advocates? What have we been doing all these years, prioritizing all these different things that really just don't matter if we cannot help a mother and a 3-year-old child living in a tent on our street? So that was pretty frustrating, but it did bring me some joy that the community did step up this morning and I had a list of people that were willing to help. So Carlos, if you can right now, as of now, CORE has reached out to them. They are still at the motel. CORE's reached out to them, did some intake. They're going to be reaching back out tomorrow. We do have enough donations to keep them there for the next couple of days. And just hopefully core, they can, because that's the first stop. Everybody always says call 211, call 4. So hopefully they can get this family some help. I do not want to separate a mother from her child just because
Right.
they have, their luck just, with the police taking their RV. I don't want to do that one. I've never gotten involved, even with people's animals. I don't even like taking their animals from them. So I don't want to take a mother from her child, but we can't have a baby living in a tent, right? In a storm. So I just want to say thank you to the community, to all the people that reached out. We're doing the best that we can, and hopefully CORE, they do have limited resources too. So I'm not really trying to get on people too much, like organizations too much, because I know everybody is trying. But hopefully they can get some resources. And I definitely think there's so much more going on in the city as far as homelessness. Carlos, Patty, if we can have a topic of longer discussion on homelessness in the upcoming weeks. I know we have some really important things coming up tonight and next week, but in the upcoming weeks, that would be great.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Y'all.
Hell yes. Maybe sooner before next Thursday, because these things can't wait. That's
Right.
that's why we started this. Thank you, Carlos, for the tech support. We need to keep communicating and getting the info out to our people because the city is kind of sleeping on it. They're not.
Right.
It's the community that's doing the work, like yourself.
Right. And like I said, we volunteers, a lot of us, okay? We don't get paid for this. We got jobs, we have families. So I just think it's important to advocate. And again, like I said, there's a lot of things that come up that just really don't matter, like, and make a lot of sense to prioritize when we have a woman like this on the streets with a 3-year-old. So yeah, but thank you. Thanks for letting me give that update.
Thank
And
you.
I want to stay on. I'm streaming, so I do want to stay on. But I'll see y'all later. I'll be in the background.
Yes,
All
Nicole,
right, I'll be
let's touch
listening in.
base soon. I'm thinking of a journey map for all of the houses and what it looks like. One day you and we can sit down and just draw it out, and this will give folks a better idea. It's not just, oh, get help, go here. No, there's a journey to it, and
Right.
you know it better than anybody else. So
I'm learning, girl. I'm learning. I'm still learning. So we'll see. We'll definitely do some stuff around that. But thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. I'll be in the background listening in.
Let me ask you real quick, Nicole, how can people follow your work and where you're at on, I know it's on Facebook. We're all familiar with it, but if somebody's just watching, how could they follow your work? And I know that on your page, a lot of things come up for folks, emergency help. Somebody might be in need of some food or trapped in their, not trapped, but stuck in their RV in a storm, hungry. How can people follow what you do and your work?
Yeah, so we are facing homelessness in Antioch. It's always easier just to follow our Facebook group page because there's a lot that comes up there. Ways to volunteer, ways to donate clothing, ways to just, there's so many community members that want to volunteer and want to just do something good. You know what I mean? There are resources. We always post people that are in different groups and different organizations. They always post in the group things that they have coming up. Like we did post the event that just happened as far as the resource fair. So yeah, it's always just facing homelessness in Antioch. That will probably be the easiest. Another before we cut off, I just want to say real quickly, there's a lot of people that are dying on these streets with this fentanyl overdoses and things like that. One thing I would recommend, the Narcan kits, if you try to get them online, you're paying $200 just for one kit, and a lot of folks don't have them. We do get them free through the state. So if you need one for a family member, for yourself, or whatever, just to have it with you, please reach out to our Gmail, Facing Homelessness 925. And just we mail them out to folks. You can pick them up during our outreach. We don't want to see nobody dying on these streets due to this stuff, and it's happening more and more. So I just wanted to close with that.
beautiful.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. We'll see you later.
Love y'all.
We love you too.
So, Catherine Wade is on here, but her devices aren't connected. I was trying to send her a private chat. But if you can hear me this way, it says you need to connect your mic and your camera. So if you can hear me, if you can go ahead and do that, please.
I've also threw it out to her on a text message that she could rush to my house if she wants to pull up a chair.
Right.
I know some technology is not always cooperative, and like connecting mics and the input, output, you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
If you're not used
I
to it.
wanted her right here next to me. I was like, if you needed to pick you up, but she'll get it. I hope
Yeah, she'll get it. It says
Um,
devices are not connected, so hopefully.
And
you can hear me.
if you guys want to pass the time chatting, I could say I had I know Nicole's probably in the background, but just it's a storm story from one of my friends that's out there on the streets. I saw him the other day, and I asked him how he was doing. Like, where are you staying in the storm? And he says he had to go to the Lynn house and shelter on the porch of the Lynn house because his little tent blew down on top of him in the wind with those high winds and collapsed it. And so in the middle of the storm, he had to crawl out of his tent. And then I don't know where he was doing that at, but he had to walk to Lynn house. So hopefully it was not too far. Hey, there's the birthday girl. I'm glad she's connected. All right. Anyways, that was just a story from one of my friends. So yeah, it's really important. And if you could make any gather any sleeping bags, tents. I know people a lot of times can't dry out, and a lot of the clothes, sleeping materials, bedding just goes in the dumpster after a huge storm. It's muddy, it's wet, they can't dry it. So if you got any blankets or stuff, get them together, sleeping bags. I'm sure people are in need of a re-up of supplies right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell my mama. I'm gonna tell my parents. I know we have blankets. Mom, let's get the blankets for sure.
Right.
Yes. Miss Queenie, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
There she is.
We're doing some community updates. What else do we have going on? And then we're going down a little list. Antioch, y'all, next week. City Council meeting, February 13th. Is the next city council meeting. It's just important for us to be there because we pay taxes, we vote, we have civic duties. Even if you're not registered to vote, you're not an American citizen, you're still a member in this community and you have say. So be up in those spaces if you can. February 13th. I know there's a housing coalition that's
Rising Juntos.
Yes, I love them.
They'll be out there fighting for the just cause for housing, and
for
I
eviction.
believe just cause for eviction. Excuse me. And I believe the folks we were talking with last week will be out there urging the city to do the ceasefire resolution. And quick, while we're on it, I'm sorry to all the folks with the event we talked about last week was postponed due to the storms. I hope everybody got the message and people didn't try to drive out there. I sent it out as best as I could on social media and personally to people I thought might go. So yeah, that was a hell of a storm.
Mm-hmm. Same. Hopefully we can tap in with them soon and learn because there's still a lot of learning and educating that needs to happen. And with that, hopefully people can have a little bit more empathy and know that this is for justice for humanity, for the people of Palestine. So this the policy or what the people are asking for, y'all, like why this matters is because folks end up in the houseless community. We don't want families to get evicted out of their homes for unjust reasons. They tried to do it by raising rent increases by up to $600 or $500 in the next month. There was a policy that was passed to set a cap, and they could not do that, and they backdated it. But still, families were evicted because they raised the rents for these small upgrades in the apartments. And then the other one is harassment. Folks were being harassed in forms that would intimidate them from seeking any kind of justice or when there's work and maintenance that needs to be done to be in habitable conditions. Folks are still living in uninhabitable conditions with mold. There are families who are developing and getting worse with breathing issues. So this is a humanitarian thing. Like, we need our communities and our families to stay housed. So show up for our people of Palestine for a ceasefire. Let's ask our electeds to do what for the people. So let's see, next item, Miss Catherine Wade, y'all. She's a queen in our community. She's been fighting a battle for a very long time alongside Frank here, also been a victim of many injustices. But today's special because it's Miss Catherine Wade's birthday. It's her birthday today, February 8th, which coincidentally is also Mr. Fab's birthday, February 8th. Or not birthday, but he was honored for giving the key to the city or something special back in the day. So it is a beautiful day. Miss Catherine Wade, thank you for joining us. We want to amplify your voice because you've been fighting this a long time. This is Black History Month. Black History should be every day. If you want to unmute Mama Wade, you can unmute. And
Okay, hello everyone.
hi.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Patty, Frank, Carlos, and everyone for making this happen today for my birthday. It's been a pretty rough day. I've been in trial with my other son since last week, and we did get victory, but it was a hard victory, and it just hurts my heart to know that these officers they could trump up anything on you, and once that it goes through the computer, the DA picks things up and they just run with it. And they really, have broken and torn apart a lot of people's lives by doing that. Because I'm a fighter. I didn't choose to fight this way, but I was pulled into this fight from what happened to my son, the late Malad Baldwin.
Yes,
So
yes,
thank you.
And y'all, just so you understand, Miss Catherine Wade has experienced all levels of forms of oppression through the generations of everything that she's lived through, from living in the city to Mississippi to Contra Costa County, seeking employment, and then the ending of losing her son to abuse. The Antioch Police Department brutalized and traumatized Miss Catherine Wade's son. They continue to park outside her home. Are they still parking outside your house, Catherine?
They're still across the streets. Two officers was over there the other night talking. My son saw them because we go out to smoke, and they're just parking there.
Do they face your house? I remember you showed me a
I have,
picture.
yeah,
They're
I have a
facing-
video where they faces my house and watches what's going on. Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, I think that's one of those intimidation tactics, and I'm sorry that you're going through that. I'm sorry. You don't deserve any of the losses and traumas that you continue to face, and we're going to keep uplifting your voice. And if you let's talk about it. Remember we went to there's the Racial Justice Act. We should probably, I want to learn more about it. I think, Frank, you're probably the expert-ish. And then there's the statute of limitations. I remember we went to Catherine and I, we rocked to Oakland. There was a deadline. And so what I've learned is that if you've experienced any brutality, if you go past a certain time, then they can just walk away and there's no accountability. So can you tell us about that, Catherine? What was it that we did, and what
What happened? I have a lot of dreams about my son Malad, and sometimes when I slack up on taking any action, I'll dream about him, and he'll come to me crying and, "Mama, you gonna fight for me?" So that would be my thing. Yes, Malad, I'm gonna fight for you. So then I'll get up again. So what happened? The 2-year mark was coming up, and I think we had a couple of days left because March 11th was on a Saturday. So then I got in touch with Patty, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll take you over there." And it was March 10th, which was a Friday. And the federal building was actually closed until the next week. They were going to open back up. So we knocking on the door of the office, and I'm asking them about how to file this complaint. They're closed, and I was like, "Can I get the forms?" So the lady gave me the forms, and we were running around. But I knew this was something that I needed to get done. I couldn't lose this because
We
you know,
were
I was
knocking on doors. They were closed,
we were
right?
yes,
That
yes,
was a
yes. We were knocking on doors. They were closed. Lady gave us instructions. We went out, tried to fill it out the best we can. We went and asked her another question, I think. And then we finally, she told us, gave the instructions what to do, fill it out and put it in the, go downstairs, get a red envelope, get the card, fill it out and put it in a box. So we did that. We took pictures doing that. Me
What
just trying to get some type of justice for my son,
Yeah.
in which I had put in many a complaints over the years and have videos to things that they were doing to him, but they were never investigated.
Who were you sending
So,
your complaints to, Mama?
huh?
With all the complaints that you sent, who were you sending them to?
I was putting complaints into the Antioch Police Department. I was going to the DA's office, been to the city manager's office, city council meetings, writing letters to the city manager, to the mayor, the board of supervisors. And I even had a Zoom meeting with Attorney General Rob Bonta. So, just I was just running around every entity that I could think of, going on the Google, looking up places and people to contact, to just for somebody to hear what my son had been going through while he was living and even after he died. So after we got the complaint filed, Lord and behold, some weeks later, here comes the text scandal. And they did text about what they did to Malad.
That was some validation that you were looking for a very long
Looking for, very hurtful, very hurtful. And
let's not minimize the pain and suffering of mothers like Miss Catherine, y'all. Like, community out there, please know that this pain, this struggle, and this fight is so real. Mama Catherine, can you tell us? I know it's a lot, but if we hadn't that form that we filled out, how many years was the first I guess police brutality incident with Malad?
it was April 28th, 2014. 2014, the first incident that they had did to beat my son, snatched him out of the passenger seat of my car. He was waiting in the car for us to take my other son to the hospital, and they just stopped on the side of my car, went over there, and he said he felt a tug. He thought it was his brother saying, "Get in the back." So he had let the seat back and put his hat. He was just chilling, about in the car about 15 minutes. And the second tug, he was snatched out the car, handcuffed and beat. They beat him pretty bad, knee in the neck, legs up like hogtied. When he was unconscious, came back to consciousness, the officer kicked his legs open and pulled his flashlight, beat him in the buttocks. Malad screamed, blood flew out his face. He went back out. Other officers came, kicking him and hitting him. And then when they finally got the ambulance, the police told him he was a mental health patient off mental health drugs, and they shot him up with drugs. Malad was going to take his second test to be a correctional officer in Sacramento. So at that time, that ended my son's life because he was never the same. So after 2017, small litigation, they started harassing, and they was hunting my son, and it went on and on in front of me, guns on his head in the car at Walmart, and walking down the streets, they pulling him over, walking down the streets. I'm seeing everything. He's like, "What did I do?" Officer putting handcuffs on him. We're riding in cars, and they see Malad, and they'll get behind me, questioning, "Who is it? Tell me your name," and just kept harassing him. He was just in front of his house one day, headphones on, pacing around. The officers, fire truck. They said Contra Costa County Fire in the neighborhood on an unrelated call noticed an unusual patient, summoned the police. So the police came in my house and beat my son. So that means the firefighters knew him too. So it just went on and on for years. Me crying out, trying to get help, trying to think and trusting that one day this department will look at what they're doing to my son, even coming to my house, flashing lights in my window, knocking on my door the night after Thanksgiving, and open the door, and they said somebody called them. Nobody called you. So it was a lot of harassment, even at the park for the going away when they assaulted Frank and Lacey and Shagufa. and lied and stuff. But I had footage that was different than the footage that they claim that, that said that they did something, but it was totally, I had different footage when it all started, when they were harassing them, and the police were there. They didn't do anything. It's like they were waiting for the white supremacist people to continue to attack us and antagonize us, for us to react back, or them to react back for something that happened to, innocent protesters. So this has been a pattern with this department. And for the text to come out and for them to admit what they've been doing and what they're doing, it just hurts me to know that these officers still have a paid job and still can get their jobs back. I mean, had that been you or I, we would be fired, no job, no money.
Jail
so
time. Jail
yes,
time.
yes. So I don't understand why they're so privileged when they hold such high position in the community as public servants. So.
And let me just mention that I was trying to pull it up here, but I believe it was last year in December that finally some paramedics and some officers, but I believe the paramedics in a case such as Malad's, where they use this drug ketamine when they say that they're 5150, there's no real guidelines that who could administer it or who calls for it. But there was a young kid, Elijah McClain, I believe it was in Colorado, and he was assaulted by police when he was walking home, and they injected him with ketamine, and he died from it. And they finally convicted one officer and two of the medical staff that, for no reason but their own thinking, just injected this drug into people. And that's what they I don't know. Do you know if it was ketamine, Queenie? What was it they injected them with? Because ketamine is kind of the standard one that they use.
I don't know about that case, but I know about Darnell, I think Benson in San Francisco, on his mental health call. They injected that in him, the EMTs, the police and stuff, and they murdered him. So I met his family member, and he's a powerful advocate in Oakland for ATPT, Antioch Police Terror Project. But it's just,
the anti-police terror project. But we should
project that's under Cat Brooks. That's Cat Brooks' organization. Yeah, so I work with them too. But it's just, it's just heartbreaking to know that, they were able to get away with so much stuff, and nobody really oversaw what they were doing. And then to come to find out that this department didn't have any evaluations for years. No one was overseeing them.
In order to get to the audience understands, in order for the text messages to come out, advocates, community activists, local, just folks that wanted justice started showing up. There was the murder of George Floyd in 2020. That was when I met you, Catherine, and Frank, and community members around here, because something was sitting in my heart and we all connected and we kept connecting. But I remember there was a large group of folks that were doing things to terrorize or intimidate folks like us, to silence us. They really tried to silence us and shut us up and get them out of their town. And they damaged property. They broke windows. They threw eggs. So that's an assault. They threw eggs at protesters that were exercising their right. They thought
I was there that day. It was
tell us about it.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it. It was so fast and like I don't know. The only other word that comes to my mind is like childish, because it was like little kids that would do something and then run off. We were camping. We were outside of the police department, and we've been there multiple days. And suddenly a car came down heading.
The hunger strike.
Yeah. Suddenly a car came down heading towards the river. And there's that little spot you could turn around right in front of the police station. They turned around, and all of a sudden I just heard pew, pew, pew. And there was like eggs on the ground next to us. And then the car was already gone. It was like instantly that fast. And I didn't know at the time what was going on. It was like, if it was a snake, it would have bit me type of thing. It just like happened so fast. And all of a sudden, like, eggs, what the hell just happened? They're like, they egged us. They tried to egg us. Maybe I'm older and slow.
They thought it was funny, and they confirmed it on their. So these folks, y'all, they claim to be the Antioch Back the Blue. I call them Antioch Back the Blue Clan, Antioch Back the Blue Bullies, because that's what they did. They bullied and did what they did to try to protect their boys in blue. But I remember they laughed about it. They said, "Oh, they found out who it was, haha," and confirmed. So this behavior, all these tactics, are very Jim Crow era. After reading the new Jim Crow and listening to it, like all of these small things are games and tactics that they use to harass, intimidate, terrorize, try to drain us and slow us down, but we sure didn't. To this day they still try, but
Right.
going to continue to exercise our rights. So 2020, George Floyd. 2020, at the end of 2020, we lost Angelo Quinto. That could have been prevented.
Yes.
That could have been prevented. Malad Baldwin, what year, Mama Wade, was his life?
March 11th, 2021, and then he came back to life, and then March 13th, finally. And then I want to read something. This is the text that Patty blew up for me, but I just want to read this part, and this is from a Sergeant Wise Carver text. No, I want to go back to Stinger. Sergeant Stinger replies, "Damn, we failed. Antioch Police Department Innabut responds, pretty sure everyone did." Sergeant Wise Carver texts, "Baldwin was the one providing the grades," and police officer Aaron Hughes adds, "84 percentile for deadly force." Antioch police officer Innabut responds, "But we kill more Mexicans than anything else, so blacks can feel safe." Now, you're admitting to killing people. You know, these officers admitting you giving a percentage on my son's life, but then you came back and say, "But we kill more Mexicans than anything else, so blacks can feel safe." So you've admitted killing people. So who have you killed and where are they? Where
Right.
are these black and brown people that you've admitted killing? You know, it's just been so much terror here in Antioch. And you know, I hate to say it, that the mayor is African American, and he's looked at it a different way from the some of the blue people in the community, because he's African American, black, but he's Hispanic too. So he's in both classes of what they're talking about.
He's received
You know,
threats. The same Back the Blue.
yes, yep. That's what I was just going to bring up. Yeah. So they don't even have respect for leadership, but we as a community had to have respect for them while they're committing crimes in the community against the community. I'm not understanding that. You know, where was upper management? I have stacks and stacks of complaints that I was putting in, and I'm sure other citizens were too. Where did they go?
Which brings me to my next thought, y'all. What's up with the Police Officers Association? So there's a Police Officers Association, right? I feel like they function alongside the Back the Blue, but I don't know. I don't feel comfortable knowing that it's those same people in that POA, because I went through their Instagram. If you all have time, go through the Instagram. The Antioch Police Officers Association has an Instagram. They stopped posting in March. And I think once they realized that the Department of Justice was arriving, because there was an audit that was conducted, it was a 3-year audit. I feel like they cut it short because activists and mothers, grieving mothers and victims, were asking and demanding for accountability. To this day, we're still asking for that. We haven't gotten it. There still hasn't been justice for the families. And that's why we're not going to stop talking about this until Catherine Wade gets her justice, till there's justice for Malad Baldwin and all the other victims in the city of Antioch and across the nation. But we're here in Antioch, and we just need to keep spreading it. Y'all have any thoughts on I'm gonna go grab something real quick. I have the letter from the attorney that was defending them.
I have it too. Rains.
Yes.
This is one of the pictures of Malad from his first beating. That one right there. And then this is a picture of Malad from a beating where they had logged him in as a John Doe. Can you see it?
Yeah.
They beat him, and all of these officers' names right here were a part of that beating that morning.
Aguilar Green.
Yeah.
Aguilar Green, Saffold, Hoffman, Maloney. Maloney bounced from the city of San Francisco after he killed Luis Gongora Pat, y'all. He
Yeah,
bounced
yeah.
there and he was received with open arms and received an award. But yep, I remember he was in your home the day that his life was taken.
Right, right. Yeah.
Turnage, Ibanez, turnage. That rings a bell because there's a turnage in the city of Antioch that is with the Back the Blue crew and
Hoffman, you forgot Hoffman, Sackfield, all of them up there.
Hopwood. Holy.
All of them. Rumbug, Hill, Giovanni, Hopwood, Meads, Rumbug at the bottom. But it's just the things where if you and I, we're police officers, we have a suspect that did something. That's our duty to take care of that. They called the whole crew. They called the whole crew. Malad's whole body was bruised up, scraped up. They drug him. But I just took a picture of blew up the face picture. When my son still had grass in his hair, they logged him in as a John Doe. You knew who he was. I could not find my son for 2 days.
That's what I wanted to ask. Tell them the story about that. So you couldn't find Malad for 2 days, and you searched everywhere and called around
hospitals,
and
jails.
the police are familiar with Malad from everything that's happened up to this point. And what you found out was they had done this to Malad. What you see in that picture, plus his body was covered in bruises and marks. And what they did was they turned him in as a John Doe, even with ID in his pocket.
And he had been arrested by Hoffman was at the first beating. Malone know that I was an activist, a lead protester with you all 2020, fighting to keep him from here, getting up there telling my story. You know, they all knew, so they called each other. They called the other officers there to do that. You know, just to even think about what they did to him. And then in the police report, they said that he was begging, just kill me, just kill me. You were trying to kill him. So yes, that's what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. I saw a picture you sent me of where he was getting put in handcuffs, and the look on Malad's face is just like, why?
What did I do? Like, and that's what he said. He's like, he's had arms on. What did I do? Looking up, and she put the cuffs on him. Then I started like, what are you arresting him for, ma'am? So then after I got through talking to her, she let him out of handcuffs. We went to
Walmart. Her face, one of the pictures you sent.
Yeah, she's one of the officers too on the investigation. We went to Walmart. It was police cars there. Malad said, "Mom, I'm not going in," because he's terrified of these officers. He sat in the car, went in real quick. I still got a copy of my receipt to show proof. You know, I went in real quick, came out. I'm sitting in the driver's seat smoking my Black and Mild, and I hear Malad say, "Why you got that gun to my head?" I'm thinking he listening to his headphones and his raps. And he said again, "Why you got that gun to my head?" I look around, and Officer Odom has his Glock on my son's temple. And I'm like, "Why you got that gun to his head?" He took it out, Malad pointed it in the car at me. And I said, "Let me get my phone." So I scrambled to get my phone. And it was just too much.
It's traumatic. It's traumatic. And
Too much.
Nobody deserves that kind of nobody. We pay them, and they terrorized you. They terrorized.
But you know what it is, Patty? Now that we know about the text, now we know how boastful and bold they were, what type of bullies they were. They were getting away with it.
Yes.
So since we fought them, I fought them with my son from what they did to him the first time and didn't stop, still asking for answers, investigations. They kept doing this to us because they got away with it. And then the harassment, the hunting, all of that, it was something that I believe they got a high off of, you know?
Yeah.
And even when they talk in their texts, kill a nigga, run a nigga, beanie nigga, this, that. Why would you talk about people like that and the gorillas and all of this stuff in this report? And you knew you were getting away with this.
And I think, as you said, Catherine, there was enjoyment and braggadocio and all this other stuff. We almost started to talk about the Racial Justice Act, and when we get there, we could talk more about it. But while I was there in those court hearings, what they pointed out was what they did was they talked about violence that they were going to commit through their text messages using like the N-word and all this stuff and all these that Catherine mentioned. Then they would go out and do it, and they would like have injured people, and they would take like trophy photographs. They were saving the empty spent rounds of the less than lethal rounds. They were saving those and hanging them on a American flag in front of their mantle. and then they would text those images of the bruises and the bodies of the people they wounded back to their friends. So they planned it, they carried it out, then they would text it back to their little group of officers, and that was something that they talked about in the Racial Justice Act
Now
hearings.
this is my nephew Jesse Wilson Jr. This is from the United States Department of Justice. The United States versus defendants Devon Winger, Eric Runbug, Matoza Amiri. All of these 3 officers beat him. The FBI is charging them with doing what they did to him and shot him with the rubber bullets and kept that bullets as the trophies. So they're fighting criminal charges against them for my nephew.
You know, the day that there was that assault on you guys, on the protesters, that was a celebration of the going away of former police chief Tammany Brooks. He was the police chief of Antioch for many years. Before him, Alan Contendo. But fast forward, Tammany Brooks, right when the Department of Justice was supposed to arrive, he decided to retire early from the city of Antioch. Why? I don't know. We can all theorize and whatnot. But he left to Idaho. Idaho. And so the Back the Blue folks, they did a celebration in a public space. And what did you not receive? I remember you told me you received a call, or did somebody call you?
I received a call by that 7-Eleven parking lot. Frank and I were the first 2 there. And they called and they said, bitch, you, Lacey, Shagufa, and you, if you show up, we're going to beat you bitches' asses. And they hung up. I went immediately and told Frank. So they were waiting for us. And throughout that whole event, well, when we got there and stood up with our signs, the organizer, that lady, I don't know her name. What's her name? Velma?
The MC.
Her and her little crew walked over there and told us you weren't invited. Get the hell up out of here, you know? So they started taunting and harassing us immediately throughout the whole event. That tall lady, the Back to Blue, that Nicole lady, pushing her son, he giving us the finger. They cussed. It was just like groups of them would follow us and just harass us. You know, and the police were watching, didn't do anything until the incident with Shagufa was defending herself for the 2nd time from that lady.
I saw she kept getting attacked.
Yeah, and then they took Shagufa down, they took Lacey down. Frank was way over there. And the officer that was pulling on Frank's leg was the officer that beat Malad the first time. So then Frank had to get all of this stuff had to happen to him. Go to the hospital, go to jail. Now you fighting a case for something that they did to you. So these DAs and these investigators, these people that's working for the police and public safety, they're not even doing thorough investigations to really find out what happened. And now we have all these 45 plus officers that have proved who the criminals are.
I actually got a video of that day. I know Carlos took one. I got another one. I don't know if I can share them anymore. I know we tried last time. And all that has finally wound through the court system. You know, they tried to charge us and with crimes that day. None of them stuck. We all completed either diversion or charges were dropped. And in some cases, like my own, settlements have already been reached. So I can't really talk too much about it, but my attorneys and the city's attorneys have agreed to settle at the moment. I don't know if you want me to try to do the present thing, but I do have it there. What happened last time? We couldn't do it. I had to send it to Patty. Or how'd you do it, Patty?
I pressed present, and then you look for where it is on your screen.
Oh, and you share the screen?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
that's so share the screen and then get to.
All right, let's see.
I think it would go under video file.
Let's see. That's what I tried last time, but let's see. I have it here somewhere. If it don't work, it don't work. But all right, let's
You want to
see.
send me the link? How much of
maybe-
it should we? I think it's lengthy.
No, it's not that one. It was a different one because Thank you, Carlos, though, because Carlos did share a long extended version of that video, which gave people a chance to check out part of it.
Yeah, that was
Oh, here
crazy.
we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let me see. Can we try this?
Now,
Is that the-
Carlos, are you the one that was at the park that day recording?
Yep, that
I
was
didn't
me.
know that. I didn't know that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you're
Protect
welcome.
Carlos at all costs, y'all.
Yeah, and I want to see that video again because I've been looking for it on YouTube, but I can't find it.
Oh, yeah. I'll
Share it
send
with me.
yeah, I'll
Okay.
share it with you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me here too.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, you saw me out there that day, huh?
Yeah, and all you guys just came up like, and they were the ones. It was
Walked up to
crazy.
us. Yep, walked up to
Yeah,
us. But I got
Um,
that call.
they kept
Yeah.
saying it was a private event.
I
All right, you
arrived.
guys. I think I have it. You ready to
Okay.
try?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's see if the sound works. Can you see that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, hold on.
There it is.
There we go.
All right, well, I'll play it. It's only a few seconds. Here we go. Let's see if I can get it to work. I don't hear no sound here. Let's see.
That's Carly right there.
They tackled you.
Yeah. And he was way over there.
Oh,
And he was just filming.
my. I didn't.
That's when they shoved over McKenna.
There was a woman standing. Kathy Cabrera was trying to. There she is, trying to block her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back to blue.
Back to blue.
A911 to the animals in Antioch has her own business out here.
Now, Frank, that's not the video I sent you, was it?
No.
Mm-mm. She tried to shoulder check me when I was doing a homework assignment and I arrived. I didn't see any of the protesters. I saw all of them, and Velma Wilson was on the mic. We back the blue. And I was like, where? And then Kathy, that woman, she came up to me really close, almost trying to shoulder check me, but I didn't move. I stood right there. But she got real close, and there was a kid, this one woman's son. He started like trying to hawk a loogie to spit at me. Like he was like, and then somebody grabbed him and was like, no. So they knew who I was, right? We were like, it was, but they knew who the activists were because that's what we did. We asked for accountability. And you had every right to be there, Mama Wade, Frank. Y'all had every right to be in that public space and fight for your right, and that's fighting for justice, right? Accountability. It was a going away party for somebody that, under his leadership, many lives were lost, and a lot of police brutality and civil rights violations.
And I do know Tammany Brooks is still named in the Quintos civil case. So as far as I understand it, that's still happening as far as I know.
Okay.
And he might be having to either give a deposition or return because of the text message scandal, but we'll see. I think what's going to happen in the end is all these hundreds or maybe thousands of cases that weave their way through, especially after the Racial Justice Act hearing that's wrapped up, things are going to start happening, and he may have to return.
That would be great. Accountability all the way up to the leadership.
Right.
We have like 12 minutes left. Can we go over a little bit more to go through? I want to know more about our community, and I do too want to know about the Racial Justice Act.
I could tell you a little bit more about it. So a lot of us went to some of the hearings. It's a scary kind of case. Let's see. I could read a little bit from the article here. Part of the case was 4 men, about all in their 20s, were accused of a drive-by shooting in Antioch in March of 2021. And Arnold Marcel Hawkins, he was 22, was killed, and another guy was injured. And they arrested 4 men in Antioch, and they were cheering the arrest of these men. And, good job, right? If you found people that are committing violence on our community, we don't want gun violence here. But what happened during the before the trial started, there's a new law called the Racial Justice Act. I believe it's only 1 or 2 years old, and you could bring up racial bias in your case. And they said, man, these guys were like the N-word. There's a lot of racial stuff that happened in our case. They looked into it. And that's when some of the text messages came out, and they were doing the monkeys, the gorillas, talking about in the case, looking for these guys, sending like blurry images on text messages. Is that him? Is this the guy? And joking that, I don't know, it looks like him. They all look alike, let's get him. All this kind of stuff happened and was pointed out in this case. And the attorney for the accused murderers, right? Accused, I say accused, and all these are alleged crimes because they haven't even went through their trial yet. But the lawyer, Carmela Carmano, looked into these guys' claims when they said all this, and she found all this this stuff in their text messages, and she brought in experts that look into like, what does this mean when there's like really racist people investigating your case, arresting you, processing evidence? What could happen with their racial bias in the handling of that evidence? And some of the things that they pointed out was, one thing is that their mind is already set, and they might not even look over here for other evidence because they're guided by their path to get this done. And it turns out in the end, the attorneys, a lot of us have been following this. So for those of you that haven't, it's been going on for about 9 or 10, 12 months here. And we've been going to these different hearings, different experts testifying, police policy experts, racial experts in racial bias and racial animus and the animalization of people when they use the monkeys and the gorillas. They tied all this back to the slavery days, even before slavery. And the judge offered his ruling, or what they call remedies, the other day. And what the attorneys for the alleged shooters were asking was that their murder charges be dropped to manslaughter, and all their gang and weapons enhancements be dropped, which means that they wouldn't get life in prison without the possibility of parole. They might get 20 to life, 25 to life with the possibility. So they have their chance to get out one day. So there's a lot of things that happen in the community. I think some of you were there the day we went to protest at the court, and the family of Marcel Hawkins, Arnold Marcel Hawkins, also showed up, and they were very upset that we were out there protesting the police because their son, their nephew got killed, right? And there was like a clash between the families, us, Catherine and other folks that have lost loved ones to police violence, and the other family that lost their son to gun violence, and that these guys, the alleged shooters, might not get the justice the family that lost somebody might think they deserve. And now that is proven true because the Superior Court judge, Goldstein, threw out all the sentencing enhancements in the criminal case. Let's see, it says, on Monday, a Contra Costa Superior Court judge threw out sentence enhancements in a criminal case where Antioch police officers sent racist text messages about 4 men accused of murder. In his ruling, Judge David Goldstein said that the behavior by officers violated the California Racial Justice Act, a state law designed to eliminate racial bias from the justice system by empowering defendants to challenge racism in the justice system. I'm reading this from a KQED article. I could share with you all, and you could post it on the website. But there's a lot out there about it. And so now, in one family's eyes, these guys might not be doing the time they think they deserve if they get accused of killing their son. And on the other side, you have one family saying, all this stuff happened to my son, my brother, my husband, while he was being arrested, prosecuted, and investigated. What are you going to do about the racism?
Right.
And so they dropped those enhancements, and now they will have an opportunity to get out, or even if they get convicted again. This all happened before the trial, even. So we've talked about this in the past, that we might see people that might have committed some terrible crimes in our community, either not get the time they deserve, or maybe not even go to jail at all and be on the streets. And I'm not a big firm believer in this justice system or the prison industrial complex with no rehabilitation. But, for families that lose loved ones or victims of crime, that are going to be, now the people are not going to be charged or maybe released. They see it a different way. So
justice
that's
for
going to be coming up for the next couple of years. You'll see these cases happening, and the news being dropped that either someone didn't get charged. I could look it up if we even have time left while you all are talking, but already a lot of crimes have been thrown out. A lot of charges have been thrown out. But anyways, that's kind of what happened in the Racial Justice Act. The judge wrote his ruling on Monday, and there's been a few stories out there. So if you search judge makes decision in California Racial Justice Act, I'm sure you'll find it. And I'll post, like I said, this KQED short article in the chat.
That part.
And I see Nicole put her thing. Yeah, it's APD's fault. And we're going to see if these guys are found guilty, that they were committing the crime, if they would have just went about their investigation and their processes without calling people the N-word, or without joking and saying they all look alike and doing all this stupid behavior, these guys might be fully prosecuted. But they did it outside of the proper boundaries, and now we're seeing the results of that.
Wow. Justice for the families. But the prison industrial complex, it's a moneymaker for a certain part of society to have people, keep them imprisoned. And it's not right. It's not right. That needs to be our prison system is ridiculous. I believe we went from plantations to prison systems. It's another form of slavery. But thank you, Frank, so much for breaking that down, because it's really intense. It's a lot of information. It's complex, controversial, but at the end of the day, we want justice for the families. And I hope that we can see who's at fault. I hope that the courts don't leave it in the air and leave it to the people to be upset with one another, when they know that it's what the root cause of it is. Yes, I have a quick comment. Ooh, how can we help Kathy? Birthday girl, how can we help you? What will bring you closure and peace, Mama Catherine, for your birthday? If you had one wish, we're not closing it out yet. I don't think we should keep going. But what's your
one wish? You know what that wish would be? Having my son back, but that's not possible. He's here in spirit. But one wish for me would be for our system that's responsible for handling these corrupt polices would really do what they need to be doing, is to fire, decertify these officers. I mean, it's too many victims out here who've been hurt by this city, by these polices in this city. And if that had been you and I, me bullying you, just for instance, me bullying you, you're at school, your family's reporting to the school's not doing anything, they're going to the school district, superintendents, all of this stuff would have got involved, and nothing is done, then somebody would be getting blue slips, at these jobs. If that person if I continue to hurt you, do something to you, I'm bullying, this is not reality to me. If we commit a crime, We have to go through the process of getting investigated, courts, and all this stuff to find out if we're guilty or not, bring out the facts. The facts are there. You text all of the things that you were doing to people. You text how you felt about Black and Mexican, brown people in this community. You don't even live here. You live way in another community, upscale community, yet you come to work in this community and you bully this community the way you did. You shouldn't even be a part of coming back down to this community to do no kind of work.
Or to any
Look what
community.
San Jose did. They fired that officer. Look what Oakland just did. They fired that officer. They decertified that officer in San Jose. You know, if you look up the Rampart scandal in Los Angeles, they did the same thing. You know, look what these, I mean, to even read these texts, to even look at the text, to even look at what they said about my son, to even know that there are more texts about my son that I can't get because they're being used for the criminal prosecution. If you're doing all these criminal investigations and prosecutions, why aren't they being convicted? It's not in our hands. They have due process.
Yep.
They fall under immunity. Why are they so protected? Because they are bonded employees. So they hold a higher standard than just another community citizen doing something. We'll go to court, get convicted because we didn't bully or did something to somebody, or domestic violence or whatever. They did something that's like worse than slavery. When I think about my 6th generation grandfather coming from Africa, being brought over on the Bombay ship and taken to Indianapolis, and then bought on a slave platter there, then taken to North Carolina, bought again. Thinking about the white, his glass casting singer's daughter going in his little hut, taking her clothes off. The father comes in and see that he raped. She's saying he raped, trying to have sex with me. He get beat damn near to death. Then you take him to be sold off somewhere else to another slave master in South Carolina. He went from north to south, and you know, it's just generational. Even me being in Mississippi, seeing the KKKs marching with the robes on, me and being taught Jesus as a white man with a robe and all of this. I was thinking they was the God, Jesus. They marched on the weekends handing out the KKK flyers, you know, and then to come to Antioch, you know, to leave Richmond to bring my children to Antioch, thinking I'm giving them a better life in the suburbs and I'm working. And this happened to my son. Not just one time, but for years and years and years. And for me to have to witness an officer in my room on a medical call for my son, and he come out dead and he was just alive up there, that's not sitting right with me. So whatever justice is, it needs to be the max for every one of them. That's it.
100%. We stand with you, Mama Wade. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. This isn't just, this is real. This isn't a story. This is real lived experiences. This is what happened to Malad Baldwin. We want justice. You know what scares me?
What happened to my baby?
Yep. About accountability, I'm gonna share something that during the Back the Blue, there was a Lisa Cobiceno. She was responding to her friend Nicole Sedano White. Let me see if you could see it. Okay, Nicole Sedano White. Let us know. I'm working on signs. Unfortunately, earlier my hubby, aka husband, was trying to pass his FBI clearance for a job, and I was asked nicely from him to behave. Now that he has it, I'm totally on board to protest in support of our officers. So they knew what they were doing was wrong. Protesting in support of their officers, in my opinion, was the terrorizing, intimidating, everything that they did. But here, these people have their husbands in the FBI, and that doesn't sit well with me either. Like, at what point will we know and make sure that there is accountability? You know, does that make sense, y'all? Does that make sense? Like, in their Back the Blue, she had to behave because her man was under an FBI investigation to get into the FBI. But these people are so embedded in our systems, the supremacists, and anything against the boys in blue makes you a target, unfortunately. I remember I tagged the Antioch police, and they gave me a ticket the next day on my vehicle in front of my house. Why? Whatever, to try to scare me, maybe. But we're not afraid. We're not going to be afraid. We're going to keep advocating and fighting for our rights, and using our voices for the voiceless. And Catherine, you're such an inspiration. You are such an inspiration for everything that you've been through and the drive that keeps you going. Because this fight is many mothers' fights as well.
And I pulled up some of the more of the text messages, and
Mhm.
I talked about what they did in the Racial Justice Act when they pointed out with the police violence experts how they would plan the violence, go commit it, and then take their trophy pictures. So in this text message, they sent a picture of a guy in a hospital bed with the little sticky thing stuck to his chest. It's a black man. You can't see him. He has like a COVID mask, and his face is turned. But his neck is all bruised up and messed up. And it says, Joss, let's see, there's one I missed here. Officer Rumbaugh texted, bro, my foot hurts. Trent's head is like a bowling ball. And then Detective Gerber responded, ha, ha, ha. And then Officer Rumbaugh, APD Sergeant, uh, uh, Officer Rumbaugh sent APD Sergeant Josh Evans the photo I described, and Evans responded, you plugged him in the neck, LOL. And then Rumbaugh said he ducked, and then LOL. Then Evans responded and said, sounds like it's his own fault. And then another text was back, so was the 6 muzzle thumps and me trying to kick his head over the fence. And then Josh Evans replied, LOL, all of my favorite things. And then, and then Rumbaugh texted, me too, Brock, Salty, and I in the backyard with no cameras, LOL. So those are, I sent the links to you folks. They're kind of long. Maybe you could make a shared version, but these are out there. That was just one little exchange. Right below that, there's another picture of a guy's like almost like his butt, but the back of his thigh with a big old welt and bruise on it. Looks bloody, and they're making more jokes about that. So yeah, they're out there for everybody to read. You just got to be able to know where to find them.
And we need to read all of it, because that's how many of.
Well, the latest news that I have heard unofficially is that all the messages that we've been getting are from 3 phones, but there was a total of 20, as I understand it, confiscated. So there's 17 more phones with text messages that we haven't seen.
All right.
How many more?
There's supposed to be 17 more phones out there. I don't know if that's true or not, but hey.
Dang.
Well, what happened to the other 228 texts? Are they going to release those 228 texts that they said they were going to release before, and then they blocked it because they said they need to use them for the criminal investigation for the Racial Justice Act?
So what Catherine's talking about, there was 128 more pages of text messages that were released to the DA for their case. Some reporters got to look at them, but they couldn't take notes or pictures. So there are 128 more texts out there that that should be roaming around, but otherwise we don't know what is really out there. Do those other 17 phones really exist? I don't know.
Yeah, hell yes, they do. Hope they probably have more. I wish they could do what they're doing, align with the Back the Blue folks, because they both advocated for violence against people. I'm gonna share one from my phone here, and it's Nicole Sedano White. She tagged Tom, somebody else, but they were advocating. Shagufa, she was a victim of many injustices just for using her voice. She activated for many lives, Black lives specifically, and they wanted to. This was in their Back the Blue page, that someone needs to grab her by that nose ring And then Nicole Sedano responded, someone needs to, she looks like a damn bull. Rip that shit out and make her bleed. So these people are violent in the
She
police.
sounds like the police.
Well, she's the Back the Blue Police Officers Association, something. Like they all work there. It's the same people. Yeah.
Who's over the police association right now? Antioch Police.
I'm not sure. I don't know, but we need to just keep finding out, because for our safety, I'm concerned,
I am too. You know, I'm concerned.
yeah, but we need to just keep talking about it and raise awareness, because this is our truth.
Yeah.
This is our truth. And
Yes.
as much as they try to silence and scare us and whatnot, we're still rocking. We're going to keep rocking for
Yes.
you. So I think, should we close out now? I think that was a lot. That was heavy. That was a lot of heavy topics. Miss Catherine, thank you so much for
Thank you all too, and you're welcome. Thank you all.
If anybody out there wants to help tell Catherine Waite's story, storytellers, some video production, and tell Miss Catherine Waite's story, please. Justice for Malad Baldwin. Justice for the families.
Justice.
No justice, no peace.
Peace.
No racist
This
police.
is police. Right.
Oh, I hear the music. I hear the music. Oh, I didn't get to say goodbye. I walked off for a second.
Oh.
Sorry, guys.
It's all good.
No, that's fine.
Thank you all for tuning
I think
Yeah, I look forward to coming back.
she hung up. So
in. Okay, I'll call her after this.
yeah, that's
I
fine.
was hoping we were gonna sing her happy birthday, but happy birthday, Mama Wade out there.
Let's do your happy birthday. Let's do it. The three of us.
All right,
Hold
you ready?
on. Let's turn this off. Go ahead. 1, 2,
Happy
3.
Birthday
To
to
you.
you.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
To
Oh,
you.
Happy
Right, wait.
Birthday,
Birthday.
dear Catherine.
Whoa.
Aw.
Happy birthday to
Birthday
you.
to you.
Hey.
Aw.
All right.
So yeah,
We're
we don't
still
need the
live.
music.
Yeah,
We
we're
don't
still
need the
live.
music to end this. Yeah, that
Thank
was
you all.
awesome.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of you for being on the show. Everybody out there in the comments. Nicole, happy birthday. Yeah. No.
Lift up
Thank
Mama
you
Wade.
all. Wouldn't
And
be
if sorry to interrupt you. If we do get a chance
no, go.
to talk about this again, I'm hoping to get an interview with the attorney from the Racial Justice Act, Carmela Carmano. And if I do, maybe I can invite her onto the show.
Let's get some
to
attorneys
talk
next
about it.
week.
Yeah, we could try to get more about it, because we're going to hear more news about it. It's a new law that's only been used a couple times in the state,
Right.
and this is going to be setting kind of a bar for what will happen in the future. So look for more news coming out about the Racial Justice Act, especially around what happened in Antioch, because there's hundreds, if not thousands, of cases that will be subject to it.
Right. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show. Thank you all for watching. Oh, we got one more. Hold on. Happy birthday.
Hey, Raina.
So,
This is
anyways,
from Malad.
if you're watching this on YouTube, the Carlos Taco Show, go ahead and like, subscribe, show some love, share if you can. Thank you, Big Rooster. Big shout out to Big Rooster and Big Rooster Show. And thank you for your support. I was on a show with them a while back, so that was fun. But anyways, like, subscribe, share. We've got to get the word out there. So let's all do our part and share and
Awareness.
and we will be back next Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're gonna. What's next week's show?
Homeless and housing.
Nice.
Homeless housing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Or if
So
we get the attorneys also, if we can, we should definitely get to houseless before then if we can. Let's try.
Right,
We need to do the
yeah.
house list first. That's
Yes,
important
we
right
do.
now, especially
Yes.
with the
Right.
weather.
Maybe
Maybe
tomorrow.
maybe we'll do a Friday show.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I know that they did talk a lot about they gave some report outs
Thank
of
you, Rena.
the executive in at the special meeting. A lot of people missed. There was a special city council meeting at the Nick Rodriguez Community Center the other day, and they gave a report out about what happened at the what's been happening at the executive inn and other programs for the community. So I'll look into that for you all, and if I could extrapolate the little clip about the housing part, I'll send that over to you, Carlos, and you can check it out. Otherwise, just look for the special meeting on the city website, and you can get some updates on what happened to the at the executive inn and how that's been working in over the past year or so. And you'll learn a lot from the special meeting.
All right. And then
Right.
Nicole, she'll definitely shed more light too. She's out there, boots on the ground.
Right. And with that, thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back soon. I guess we'll be back before Thursday. We'll see. But again, thank you all, Miss Patty, Mary, Frank. I appreciate you all. Kathy, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Catherine.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys soon. So stay tuned.
Bye-bye.
Carlos.
Peace.